Welcome back everyone, and it's time to go balls deep. And in this video we are going to explain and put into perspective on how strong Tanjiro is from Demon Slayer. We will cover his speed, durability, strength and abilities. If you want us to cover this topic on any other particular character, let us know by commenting below. And you know, I was thinking Zenitsu myself, so please do voice your opinion. Before we begin the video, I have a very important announcement to make. Creating videos for this channel for 5 years now, I never thought I'd ever get to where we are right now. I know that's cliche and blah 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 blah, you don't want to hear that stuff? Of course! We got sponsored by Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll are currently giving away a free 14-day trial of Crunchyroll Premium to anyone that signs up at crunchyroll.com/animeballsdeep, or check the link in the description and pinned comment. Now I'd appreciate if you guys can help by signing up and getting something in return, because you know, at this point, who doesn't know what Crunchyroll is? Are you living in a dungeon or basement? Come on, man! What did you say? Wait, I didn't mean that. No, don't get angry. I'm sorry, don't leave. Crunchyroll has quite a few that I personally recommend, such as Demon Slayer, Attack on Titan, Black Clover, Shield Hero, and there's countless more. There is so much content here that will last you for years, and by supporting us, that supports Crunchyroll, and then that supports the original creators of the anime, and you get what you want. So it's a win, 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 and another win situation. So sign up at crunchyroll.com/animeballsdeep in the link in the description for a free trial that will give you access to the newest episodes only after an hour that they air in Japan, full HD quality on consoles, tablets or phones, and ad-free from those pesky weird ass hentai ass ads that you get on other sites. Okay, so before we break down Tanjiro's overall strength, we need to break down his different sets of abilities. Number 1 is Tanjiro's extra sense of smell. Number 2, his insane human conditioning of his body. Number 3, his potential to use all the breath styles. Now let's start with his sense of smell. Like the other characters in the series, Tanjiro has some sort of heightened sense, and in his case it's his smell. Tanjiro's sense of smell is so broken that this kid can solve a mystery better than Sherlock Holmes himself with just a whiff of that nose. For example, in the start of the series, even before Tanjiro became a demon slayer, he was able to help the local community by solving the case on how the dishes broke by smelling the scent of a cat on the broken dish. Later, we see Tanjiro's sense of smell improve and come in use during his training to become a demon slayer itself. Tanjiro was able to recognize traps and dodge them just by the smell. You can think of this as his very own spidey sense that Spider-Man has. In fact, to reinforce the point, we see Tanjiro use his smell to perceive oncoming attacks before it happens. He has done this many times, like even with the drum demon, Tanjiro was determining his attack by just smelling the movement of the mold in the room. And later on in the manga, after Tanjiro's training with Robot Zero Shiki, Tanjiro learns how to predict attacks with just a sense of smell. Some One Piece observation haki type of shit. Apart from using his sense of smell for dodging and predicting attacks, Tanjiro also relies on this sense to determine the best course of action to take when he's striking his enemy, where he can actually smell the line of interval that act as a guide for his strike. He also has used this ability as sensor or radar to detect demons, like he done this with the swamp demon and even to detect Muzan himself. Like guys, you have to remember not many demon slayers has encountered Muzan because he is hard to find, but Tanjiro does this within seconds. Not even Hashira, who are supposed to be the top dogs of the demon slayer, can't do this, but our boy Tanjiro, a 15-year-old boy, was able to whiff him out in a huge crowd. This is why in the future he is the one that has to defeat him. He is the most important component of the pillars and the demon slayers. Tanjiro can also smell emotions and aura. Yes, he can literally smell what type of person you are, as he did with Zenitsu, and he can smell emotions as he did with Shinobu by smelling her anger. One more thing that he has is that he can tell if someone is lying, as humans give off a certain scent when they lie. So just from his smelling abilities, you can put it into perspective. He has 5 different powers just from his nose. Now this is what puts him apart from other demon slayers, because they don't have these powers. Okay, now let's talk about his strength. Let's look at his feats to exemplify his inhumane level of power that puts everything into perspective. Now remember, this is a 15-year-old boy who weighs 135 pounds and is 5'4". Now in manga chapter 8, in the final selection exams, Tanjiro got so upset with Genya regarding his disrespect. With only his grip strength on his arm, he crushed smashed and broke his arm within a second after being dared to. Now moving on to another strength feat we must consider regarding his grip is against his sister Nezuko in manga chapter 84. Now keep in mind, Nezuko is a demon which causes her to have supernatural abilities, and at this time she went on a rampage using almost all of her power at the time.
When will you learn? When will you learn that your actions have consequences? Cause you freaking prick!
Even still, Tanjiro is still capable of keeping his sword within her mouth. Wait, I was not finished! He does not lose the hold of his sword and withstands her strength is my point. Another feat we should consider is his sheer power in his head. When he faced the first demon in the final selection exam, he headbutted the demon's hand downwards for greater position with ease. Now on top of that, in chapter 45, he bloodied a pillar's face who hurt his sister. Now if you don't know what a pillar is and why they are so important, we have done a video covering everything about them. Binge watch that after this. But the pillars are basically the top ranked and most powerful swordsman in the whole anime, and Tanjiro bloodied one of them without effort only 45 chapters into the anime. And in the latest chapters, some would say he is pillar level already. Furthermore, whilst I was reading Demon Slayer, as soon as I saw this dude jump like a ninja from Naruto with ease, I was like, hell nah, this guy ain't even human anymore. Tanjiro did the exact same thing against Hartengu, or Harteng, I don't know how to pronunciate it, forgive me guys, but with the sheer force it broke the concrete walls. In addition, in a pillar test, he pushes a large rock which he used all his strength, power and muscle fibers, as he stated this himself. Now as I watched World's Strongest Man myself, people like Eddie Hall, Hartford Bronson, Brian Shaw and many more, fam, all these dudes are 6'2" or bigger and weigh at least 400 pounds. They're the strongest men in the whole world. Now the rocks that they move are around 500 pounds, but I guess they are not using their legs, right? Now my man Tanjiro, at 5'4", 135 pounds, he is moving a rock that looks 10 times the size of what real life people do. Now he is easily moving at least 5,000 pounds here. This is why it makes sense as to why he is able to fling characters such as Inosuke with one arm, as well as another swordsman into the air, flying him into a tree with ease. They are nothing in comparison to the rock. Okay, so that puts his strength into perspective. Now let's talk about Tanjiro's speed and reflexes.
You can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. What?
Now to no one's surprise, his speed is not human. For example, he evades demon level dodgeballs at close range. On top of this, he defeats Kanao at her reflexes game with ease. But that's not the end of it. He also dodges the speed of sound by a demon's attack named Hartengu, as I mentioned later on in the manga. Now this isn't any ordinary demon too. Hartengu was one of the former 12 demon moons, who are a group of 12 powerful demons under Muzan's command of course, and they were all given a portion of his blood which gave him these augmented powers that are better than everyone else. Now the speed of sound is 1,235 kilometers per hour, and Tanjiro still dodged this. Obviously there are more occurrences of him slashing hands or heads off within a blink of an eye, and I mean, when your main character leaves gusts of winds just by his sheer speed, you know he's a beast. So what I'm trying to say is, bearing in mind that there is only 200 or so chapters so far, by the time Tanjiro has to face Muzan at the end of the manga, it's safe to say Tanjiro would be the strongest of all demon slayers. As time passes, he is definitely going to be at least large building level, in which he could cut down a building with one sword strike on his own. I mean, he can already cut huge rock boulders with ease. Cutting a building in half would seem feasible. Now moving on, let's talk about Tanjiro's biggest feats of durability, explaining how much damage he can tank. Well, basically, just as I explained, Tanjiro's headbutt attack is unmatched. For example, in the start of the anime, when he headbutts Inosuke, Tanjiro is left unaffected whilst Inosuke had a concussion. Now he uses this attack against demons too, where they would stun them, even members of the pillar who drew blood. It's one of the best attacks that others that do not have. He never takes significant damage from doing it. I mean, when I was watching this anime, just the training episode alone in the start, it puts it into perspective of how broken Tanjiro is as a human, that there is something special about him per se. Now I don't want to spoil too much, as we will break this down in a future video on what makes Tanjiro so inconceivably strong against everyone else. By the way, it's his black sword. Now if you want us to explain it more in detail about his clan and about his father, let us know by smashing that like button and commenting below Tanjiro is a beast. Anyway, back to my point. In the start, we see him tank traps such as rocks being thrown at his face at a high speed. I mean, he drops from massive heights and gets back up like nothing multiple times. During Tanjiro's training for 1 year, he suffered so much pain that he described it as if all his limbs were about to rip off at any moment, but he still pushes on. Other human beings can't do this. Now, I know what you're thinking, right? This isn't amazing. What else has he done that would blow my mind, fam? Now, in the manga, I think his fight with Hantengu is the best example. Anyway, since this dude Hantengu is part of the 12 demon moons, Tanjiro in this fight tanked a wave of sound that normally would burst someone's eardrums and leave them immobile. Not only that, he did it again against the wooden dragon that Tanjiro said himself, "This tree dragon has 5 heads that can stretch roughly 20 meters. The dragon arms were so powerful that it would have an imprint on the floor it was smashing, which is concrete. Now, Tanjiro still tanks all of this even if these blasts were at point blank range, and he still recovers. Now, this isn't even the last of it, because Hantengu kept bashing Tanjiro. Now, in the fight, he even blasts him with wind as if one of these wind attacks, this same attack, right, is capable of destroying large buildings with one swing. Tanjiro tanks this blast and smashes through walls, but even when that happened and against that, he still gets back up and he still beats this demon. Tanjiro has also been shown to have the ability to stand under a waterfall that is said to be able to break someone's neck with ease just by its force. Now, Tanjiro even has strong resistance to poison, because against Gyotaro, who was also part of the 12 demon moons, in which Muzan states he was a true holder of the position of the upper moon 6, meaning he's a top 6 demon that ever exists right now, Tanjiro still tanked a sickle that pierced his chin diced with poison. Now, this poison is said to kill all opponents and is fatal. However, Tanjiro tanked this and still killed him. He did, however, end up in a coma for 2 months. Now, I don't want to spoil too much again, I know I'm repeating myself, but the way things are going on how Tanjiro will learn other breath styles, his heritage from his clan, and the secret behind his power, one day he would definitely end Muzan's life to end the whole concept of demons that feed, ending the cycle forever. I really do hope Nezuko becomes a human again. I think this dude is capable of doing it. He's the most versatile demon slayer of all. So you are all probably wondering, okay, Tanjiro is superhuman, but why? Why can he do all of this? Well, this is because of the breath styles. If you watched the real reason why Tanjiro has the black nichirin blade, you would remember we explained that Tanjiro has the ability to wield all and every single breath style, as he is compatible with the breath of the sun style, which is like the father of all styles. Now, with this, Tanjiro is capable of using all the other breath styles. However, so far he has only mainly shown proficiency with the breath of water style. He was taught this style by the previous water pillar, Orokodaki. With the breath styles, the user can increase the amount of oxygen in one's blood by controlling his breathing pattern. This increases his strength and agility to equal a demon. Tanjiro has now learned to do full focus breath at all times, further increasing his base strength, speed, and stamina. He is also able to heal wounds and reset broken bones with this ability. Now, just imagine everything we already said about his already broken strength and increase that by an incredible amount. He literally turns into a super soldier. Like, if you ever wondered why Captain America could even stand a chance against an alien like Thanos, it probably because he was using breath styles. That's how you need to put it into perspective, okay? But seriously, the effectiveness of the breath style also has some roots from breathing techniques in our world, even outside of the martial arts scene. Like any strength and conditioning, let's say weight training, breathing at the right time affects your performance to the point where it can make or break you. Breathing techniques even goes back to the ancient times in our world. Tanjiro healing himself or closing his wound quickly by using his breath style isn't far-fetched, as having complete control of breath will give the complete control of their level of oxygen, blood concentration, heart rate, and many of the other factors. This is likely where the creator of Demon Slayer got inspired from in the first place to give to Tanjiro. Now, coming back to the water style, it is insinuated that Tanjiro has mastered all of the 10 main water style forms. Now, in the future, he will have to learn 10 different styles for the other elements and basically become the avatar. This will help him defeat Muzan. Now, these different styles will exert a different amount of force or pressure when used. The breathing style allows Tanjiro to determine exactly how much pressure is needed for that specific technique. For example, in his 4th style, striking tide, it would have a similar force of a tide, but obviously more deadly as he's using that force in a concentrated area of his blade. Likewise, his 5th style, the the merciful rain of a dry day is used for a mercy kill. This gives the force and effect of a simple rain touch. But we also know that the amount of force water can have, like tsunami can literally rip apart concrete buildings with one swoop. We also know that high pressured water can even cut through diamonds. So in the future, with the amount of sheer strength that Tanjiro has with water, he will be able to cut through diamonds. That's how OP he is. So the limits of breathing style is literally endless. For example, after explaining all of this, Tanjiro realized himself that he wasn't completely in sync with the water style, as he felt limited at times. Like, we know he can use the water style effectively, but compared to Giyu or his sensei, Tanjiro hits a brick wall. His sword even starts chipping as he uses this breath style. Now this realization reminded Tanjiro on the breath style performed and taught by his father, which was a breathing technique that increases the user's strength and endurance, the dance of the fire god. With this breath style, Tanjiro was able to go beyond his limits, performing techniques like the waltz, flame waltz, and even blue heaven. Now this breath style is more in sync with Tanjiro and allows him techniques to be more sharper and refined. So remember guys, this breath style is more of a power boost to his already broken stamina and strength. Now his use of the recovery breath on top of all of this increased tremendously, where he can recover in actual combat. This dude's broken, he can heal himself. Now I don't know how you got to this point of the video now, it's so long at this point, and this guy still has even more powers, because leaving all of this behind, Tanjiro has shown his potential to use the original breath from which every other style is derived. He's the avatar, the breath of the sun. This is what will kill Muzan. Now this breath gives Tanjiro a massive boost in strength, durability, and speed. However, it's extremely damaging to him if it's used for too long. Think of this ability like the Kaioken that Goku uses in Dragon Ball. Now the breath of the sun allowed Tanjiro to boost his overall stats so high that he was able to fight on par with Darky, who was dominating him prior to his activation of the breath style. Now the breath of the sun style, on top of all of this, it also allows Tanjiro to use abilities from the other schools of breath without formal training at all. An example of this is when Tanjiro was able to use the first style Thunderclap Flash just by observation and hearing Zenitsu's movements. Now this allowed Tanjiro to access the speed force for a few seconds and help him jolt as the speed of thunder, which is around 12.5 miles per minute. Lastly, the final point to add to Tanjiro is the fact that he has the Demon Slayer mark on his forehead. We are not going to discuss this in the video because it's already too long. I'm tired, you're tired, we all tired, okay? So again, if you want more Demon Slayer content, smash that like button, support us, follow us on Twitter or Instagram. And overall, I hope you understand and put into perspective the capacity of Tanjiro from Demon Slayer. And if you want us to do another character like Zenitsu, comment it below and I'll catch you guys next time.